Hello everyone, this is Derived Energy and I'm in a very peaceful place at the moment. I'm in a cemetery. Let's have a look. It's a very peaceful place. There is no deprivation of happiness or pain or suffering being experienced in this place at the moment, apart from myself. I want to read from a book today called The Denial of Death, written by Ernest Becker, and it's a very good book. It's another book I recommend to my viewers, and it's all about the denial of death. And I don't just mean this in a religious sense, a traditional religious sense, you know, that for example Muslims and Christians believe that they're going to have access to conscious experiences after they die. When I'm talking about the denial of death, I'm also talking about the way people deny and repress the notion that their sentience will one day come to an end. And I think this is pernicious, because I think that if people are going to reproduce and procreate and bring new people into the world, then they should be brave enough to look into the face of death in an unflinching and intellectually honest way. Now, I don't think many people do that, so it's a form of insanity. Right, I'm going to read from this book now, and I'll set my camera up. There we go. Okay. Find my page. What do we mean by the lived truth of creation? We have to mean the world as it appears to men in a condition of relative unrepression. For example, people like me. That is, as it would appear to creatures who assessed their true puniness in the face of the overwhelmingness and majesty of the universe, of the unspeakable miracle of even the single created object, as it probably appeared to the earliest men on the planet, and to those extra sensitive types who have filled the roles of shaman, prophet, saint, poet and artist. What is unique about their perception of reality is that it is alive to the panic inherent in creation. Sylvia Plath somewhere named God King Panic, and Panic is fittingly king of the grotesque. What are we to make of a creation in which the routine activity is for organisms to be tearing others apart with teeth of all types, biting, grinding flesh, plant stalks, bones between molars, pushing the pulp greedily down the gullet with delight, incorporating its essence into one's own organisation, and then excreting with foul stench and gases the residue, everyone reaching out to incorporate others who are edible to him, the mosquitoes bloating themselves on blood, the maggots, the killer bees attacking with a fury and a demonism, sharks continuing to tear and swallow while their own innards are being torn out, not to mention the daily dismemberment and slaughter in natural accidents of all types. An earthquake buries alive 70,000 bodies in Peru. Automobiles make a pyramid heap of over 50,000 a year in the US alone. A tidal wave washes over 250,000 in the Indian Ocean. Creation is a nightmare spectacular, taking place on a planet that has been soaked for hundreds of millions of years in the blood of all its creations. The soberest conclusion that we could make about what has actually been taking place on this planet for about 3 billion years is that it is being turned into a vast pit of fertilizer, but the sun distracts our attention, always baking the blood dry, making things grow over it, and with its warmth giving the hope that comes with the organism's comfort and expansiveness. Science and religion merge in a critique of the deadening of perception of this kind of truth, and science betrays us when it is willing to absorb lived truth all into itself. Here the criticism of all behaviourist psychology, all manipulations of men, and all coercive utopianism comes to rest. These techniques try to make the world other than it is, legislate the grotesque out of it, inaugurate a proper human condition. The problem with all the scientific manipulators is that somehow they don't take life seriously enough. In this sense, all science is bourgeois and an affair of bureaucrats. I think that taking life seriously means something such as this, that whatever man does on this planet has to be done in the lived truth of the terror of creation, of the grotesque, of the rumble of panic underneath everything. Otherwise it is false. Whatever is achieved must be achieved from within the subjective energies of creatures, without deadening with the full exercise of passion, of vision, of pain, of fear, and of sorrow. In the mysterious way in which life is given to us in evolution on this planet, it pushes in the direction of its own expansion. We don't understand it simply because we don't know the purpose of creation. We only feel life straining in ourselves and see it thrashing others about as they devour each other. Life seeks to expand in an unknown direction for unknown reasons. I think Ernest Becker has a little bit of religiosity in this passage, because he says life seeks to expand in an unknown direction. Well, it's not an unknown direction. Everything that ever lives dies. It all terminates, it all comes to an end. So it's not an unknown direction for unknown reasons. For unknown reasons there are no reasons. We live in a meaningless, amoral universe. Modern man is drinking and drugging himself out of awareness, or he spends his time shopping, which is the same thing. An awareness calls for types of heroic dedication that his culture no longer provides for him. Society contrives to help him forget, or alternatively he buries himself in psychology in the belief that awareness all by itself will be some kind of magical cure for his problems. But psychology was born with the breakdown of shared social heroisms. It can only be gone beyond with the creation of new heroisms that are basically matters of belief and will. Like matters of belief, i.e. insane delusions and superstitions, dedicating to a vision. So that will conclude this video. But Ernest Becker, The Denial of Death, is a good book, but I detect a hint of religiosity in that book, despite his astute observations about the human condition. Peace out.